And we are live. It's the Dave K Show. How's everybody doing out there? So glad to have you guys along with us on this beautiful Saturday morning. Soon to be Saturday afternoon. I know it is hot.
It's hot.
I am David K. Gyro, your host as always, and my beautiful co-host, Miss Datha Buriege. How you doing?
Doing good. How are you?
I've never been better. That's my little tagline from here. I've never been better.
Never been better,
Never been better. That's right, exactly. So what we're gearing up for, I was listening to the weather report the other day, and they're telling me we're going to have a night coming up next week. We're going to be in the 50s.
Shut up.
Yes. I told you. What I tell you
We're going to have to bring out the jackets and the winter galoshes.
Yes. Don't get rid of this. Let me tell you something. So we were talking about last show.
I'm in shock right now.
We were talking about last show. When football season starts, that's a sign. It's always hot as heck when football season starts. At the end of football season, it's usually like cold. You got to put your jacket on.
I am so excited right now. My electricity bill is going to go down.
Right.
What?
Right. Well, no, I mean, you are just like
50.
I would love to be a fly on the wall in your house and look at your thermostat because
79 nonstop.
Yeah, I don't know if I could live in that situation.
And catch this, wintertime, it stays at 60 and that's it. It don't go higher than 60.
60 in the winter. Wow.
Yes, sir.
So what do you do to supplement your temperature in your house? Do you have blankets on the sofa?
I have that, and I have a box heater, a little oil box heater that I keep plugged in.
Right.
It doesn't take up that much juice.
That helps
My
out.
bills go down
Sure.
so cheap. It's like bonus for me.
So I got to ask, so you have the three kids. Do they kind of like go at nighttime and like sneak by the thermostat and like crank it
Heck
up a little
no,
bit?
nobody knows how to use it.
Ah, really?
I see, I'm smart on that one.
Yes. You don't have like one of those little plastic boxes like put a lock on it on your thermostat?
Tim suggested that, and I might have to do that.
Right.
But they haven't got to the age yet where they're wanting it on that much. They know.
Right.
They like it cold too. But if they turn the air down, I'm going to have a fit. And it's best to be, keep mom happy.
Yes.
Err on the side of caution, because when I get aggravated and it starts costing me money, it's bad.
How's the saying go? If mom ain't happy,
nobody's going to be happy.
Nobody's happy. That's right. Exactly. I will tell you one thing. So the thing with me is, it's like I like noise in the house, constant noise. I have to have noise constantly. So and I love it. So I love it when the air conditioning cycle's on, whenever the heater cycles, because it's noise. And so a little secret about us. So we keep it kind of cold all the time in the house, and so. We have like a little blow dryer that we keep on, and it gives like a blow dryer. Yes, we do have the little blow dryer, which it gives constant noise. So my wife's going like, look, the thing's burning up electricity when you put the blow dryer on low. Why don't you get one of those little things from Amazon that makes noise, little noise generators? It's got thunderstorms, rain clacking on the roof.
You need Alexa,
it's
man.
Got wind. Right.
You got to get Alexa.
I'm worried about Alexa. I really am.
Why?
Alexa listens to everything that you
but
say.
But Dave, she don't understand half the stuff we say.
No, tell people what that's all about.
Okay, so all right, so Alexa never understands me, right?
Right?
I can ask this chick to turn my TV on 10 different ways till Sunday, and she never understands it.
Why?
Because I talk loud and I'm fast, and I don't pronunciate.
Right.
And Alexa needs pronunciation.
Well, quick. Hang on. Are you talking like across the room? Can Alexa hear you?
I am like up in her face or on her little speaker, and she can't hear it. She just does not understand a word I'm saying. I mean, it has to be said several times.
Interesting. You might have a defective Alexa.
No, I have a defective voice.
Okay, right.
My Honda don't understand what I'm saying either.
Is Alexa bilingual or trilingual?
I tried. I said, hola, Alexa. She says, hola. I said, ¿Cómo está? She said, I do not speak that much Spanish.
Come on,
I said, come on, Alexa, really?
Can you get an update for Alexa, like download an update?
No, because
like
then she starts speaking too much Spanish. And habla español that very well.
I have heard that there's some creepy instances with Alexa where she just starts laughing in the middle of the night for no reason.
No, check this. It's even better. So like Friday morning, I want to sleep a little late, right? It's about 7 o'clock, and I'm like, because 7's about my max. 6:30 to 7 a.m. is about my max.
I can't do that.
I got to 7-Eleven. The dog starts mowing like this heifer better not be moaning, because I do not take two dogs moaning. To me, that is, I want out, and you're going to let me out now or else. You go when I say go,
Let's
period.
see fingernails on the chalkboard.
Exactly. And that's exactly what I heard, too, when I went in there. I let the dog out and I fussed at her, and then I realized Alexa was scratching the freaking chalkboard all night long.
Wow.
What happened to my baby lullabies, Alexa?
Right.
Straight to the chalkboard.
Wow.
And Dave, nobody told her to play chalkboard sounds.
See what I'm
nobody.
saying? That's because she's listening to you, and she's listening for keywords.
Well, somebody was telling her to play chalkboard sounds, and it was not me. And I know the dog can't talk.
That is okay. So let's segue into something from that. Okay, so you got your iPhone, your iPad, or whatever. You're talking about stuff with your friends during the day. Next thing you know, ads start popping up of stuff that you were talking about earlier. They're listening to you. Your iPhone is listening to you.
It's also taking pictures of you all the time. If you ever take a picture of the camera on the front of your phone, it's always lit.
Isn't that amazing?
That's scary.
It really is scary. So watch out, guys. Watch out.
That's why you don't do face recognition.
Right.
No,
and like we talked about earlier too, it's like technology, and we're going to discuss technology later on today. It's something that it's something that's not going away. You can't get away from it. It's here to stay. You can try to find ways to protect yourself and your privacy from technology. Case in point, Walmart. When you walk in Walmart, I've counted about 6 different cameras over here that are looking at you.
And now you're on big screen TV, man.
Yes, you are.
Look,
like as a reminder,
make us or break us.
Yes, that's right.
It is.
Right.
Plain
and those aren't like benign little security cameras.
No, these are like nice HD, see every crack, every wrinkle, every pore.
Facial recognition cameras.
And you're like, first of all, I don't want that many people to know I'm shopping at Walmart.
Right. Well,
nobody needs to know where I'm at.
That's what they do.
But that's a big TV.
Yes,
so
it is.
Technically, everybody's a star when they go to Walmart.
Right, exactly.
Especially when you do your self-service.
Right. Well, what I do is whenever I'm checking my stuff out, I get out of the camera.
I tried that.
But then next thing you know, there's another screen. There's another camera that you can't get away from.
You can't get away from it.
You cannot get away from it. Okay, well, that's something we're going to have to work on. One other thing, rest in peace. It was a good run. We enjoyed it. Cortana Mall is officially gone.
R.I.P. Cortana Mall.
It is officially
R.I.P.
gone. It's officially gone.
It's actually a good thing.
Right. And I was thinking something. You said something last show about, the whole place is dying. You said the restaurants are going away.
Is.
There's a reason for that. Those restaurants were feeder restaurants for the mall because all these people shopping at the mall, they got to eat somewheres. So that was driving the business for these restaurants around the mall. The mall shuts down. All the ancillary businesses go down with it.
The mall has been teetering on the edge for a very long time. I used to work out there, and we used to go shopping, and it was teetering when I was out there. Right. It's been a while.
Right.
It's been a while.
So what do you think Mall of Louisiana's next?
I do. I think that everybody eventually will go to online shopping because, for one, you save money. For two, you save gas. Why go somewhere when you can buy it online and have it shipped for free?
Right, exactly.
Especially where we live.
Yes. There's
traffic you have to drive through, and let's face facts, people. Traffic is a nuisance. It's got to go. Every week, somebody's got to wreck, and it's got to go. Yes. I was driving home Thursday, and they had this Ford F-150 Silver, and I wish to goodness I'd have got his plate, and I wish I still worked in motor vehicles because I would have wrote him a nice little letter. Had to be doing 95 miles off the downslope of the new bridge.
Wow.
And this guy was merging with his blinker on. It didn't see him because this cat's flying, right?
Right.
And you can't really see people driving that fast. And I almost hit him, and the dude did this fishtail thing, and I'm like, if he could have died.
My goodness. He was in the right lane or the left lane?
He was in the right lane.
Okay. So he corrected himself, and he averted disaster
The fast guy was in the right lane. The slow guy was getting to
Jeez.
Yeah, it was just it was just too much.
Things can happen on a dime.
I personally I think that I don't know, they need to just, people like that they ought a death wish.
Well, we had Representative Lacombe on earlier. We're gonna have her on again. He was talking about the big bypass bridge coming up that they got approval for. So that's gonna be interesting to see how that works out.
They need to work on getting us a bypass over that railroad.
Heck, you're just happy if you can get over to the railroad tracks in Livonia. You get your kids to school on time.
Oh, that track.
Yes. Okay. All right.
Yes.
All right. That was our takeoff roll for today. So that's gonna segue us into our next guest that we have. And I'll tell you what, our guests always top each other, and today is no different. We have a very special guest on today. She is the Clerk of Court in the Parish of Pointe Coupee.
That's right.
And let me tell you something. Okay, so I'm in the film industry and everything too. Okay, so I liken the Clerk of Court to this. They work in the background. They're unseen. You don't know really what's going on until something goes wrong. In the film industry, the sound guy is that guy. It's like you're enjoying this beautiful sound. You take it for granted when you're watching a film, but once you have a jar in the sound, it's like, oh, what was that? Somebody's fired. So
that's bad.
Exactly. So before I talk about the Clerk of Court, without having somebody to defend herself, I am going to introduce her today, and she is the one and only Miss Lanell Landry. How you doing?
Good morning. Great. How are y'all today?
We're doing great.
Good.
Glad to have you with us.
Yep.
Thank you for having me here today.
It's an honor to have you with us.
Well, it's an honor to be here today.
Yes.
I appreciate the opportunity to talk about the position and my staff today.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, we're glad to have you right here. We have a lot to talk about today. We're going to kind of cram it in with a little time we have left. So you need no introduction. Everybody knows who you are around here. If you live in Pointe Coupee and the surrounding parishes, we know who you are. What I want to do is I want to go back to the early days with Lanell Landry. And what were you doing before you got into the Clerk of Court's office?
I was controller for the city of New Roads.
What is a controller?
Controller oversees all the finances, the budgets.
That's a fun job right there.
Right.
It's interesting. It was really good. When I took office, I put in a new computer system for the city and saved about $100,000 the first year. So that
Cha-ching.
also brought in my interest in the computers because I have a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration. My major is finance, but I also have a state certification in computer operations.
Cool.
So that all brought me to the city of New Roads.
That's something I didn't know. Awesome.
Yeah. And so while I was there, someone recognized what I did and told me that we needed something like that on a parish-wide level. And at the time, I was under the impression that Miss IGLM was going to be retiring. So the first thing I did was I did some research, and I read all the laws, looked at the budget, preparation, make sure that, one, I could do the job, and then two, that I wanted to do the job.
Right.
That's important.
Yes, because I knew that it would be some big shoes to fill. Miss IG had been there approximately 34 years at the time.
Wow. That's a long time.
So
Yes.
I spent several months talking to people and getting my information together, and went to speak with him upon the request of one of my supporters, at which time he informed me that he was not going to retire. So I was already too far into it to turn around. So we ran, and it was really good. There were 3 of us in the first race. And
What year was that about?
that was in 1999.
Oh, goodness.
October
Yeah.
of
Wow.
1999.
Wow.
Right. And I came out with 48-point-something%, right almost the marker I needed to get in
Wow,
there the
every
first time.
vote counts, right?
Yes,
That's right.
every vote does count. And so I had 48, almost 49%. Miss Digi was in the 30s, and the third person was in the 20s. So in the runoff, I ended up coming out with low 60s.
Cool.
Interesting. Very, very good. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
cool.
And the rest is history, right?
The rest was history.
That is awesome. Very, very good. So, so your previous job kind of set you up to give you the skills that you need, to get where you are in your new office and everything. What were some of the challenges coming in that were unforeseen to you?
The first challenge was the office did not have any computers in it.
Oh, wow.
So that what I did was started meeting with companies after I won the election, but before I took office, because I won the election in November of '99, but I did not take office until July of 2000.
Oh.
So I had about 9 months to start preparation. So what we did was I interviewed several companies, software companies, and talked to them. And then when I got sworn in on Friday, we went to the office Saturday morning. We worked all Saturday morning, Saturday night, Sunday morning, Sunday night.
Oh,
Wow.
man.
So when the doors opened Monday morning, we had computers
That's
on every
amazing.
desk.
Wow.
They were borrowed computers because I was working on getting a grant from the Supreme Court to actually get computers for the office.
Right.
But we also had data on the computers back to 1967.
Oh, what?
Man,
Yes.
Wow.
Well, that's
Yeah.
ancient
Well,
stuff
Wow.
for a
Quite-
computer.
Yes, it is.
That's pretty
Quite
cool.
naturally, we didn't do all that.
I'll
Just
go
over
ahead and say
the
that was a year before I was born, but we're not going to let you know when she was born.
I'm not saying when I was born.
Right. Okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I think that was the year I started the first grade too. So,
Wow.
but
Right.
we quite naturally we didn't put all that data on over the weekend.
Yeah, massive task.
Yeah.
It was prior to the time that I took office. I spent about 9 months doing that. We picked up microfilm. I picked up some indices,
No
and
microfilm.
I chose
Yep.
and I chose the company called Grids to use. And
GRIDS.
GRIDS.
Is that an
correct.
acronym?
It is
Okay.
Governmental.
Right.
you
Look
know.
it up, guys.
Yeah.
Records in Dutch.
Right. It works.
It's
Right, it works.
and it has worked very well for me. It's a really user-friendly system, and we are getting ready to go into the next phase of it right now. It
Wow, that long.
yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Right.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah. So it's definitely a work in progress. You can be in office, for 20 years and things still need to be done.
David, we have done a lot, but I'll be the first to say there are still some things I want to finish.
Yes.
I'm very concerned about, we were discussing this before the show, cyber attacks right
Yeah.
now that are going on, and that's part of the reason we're moving very slowly into getting actually online on the internet.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're putting all the safety nets in place. Since January of 2011, title people, abstractors, attorneys have all used my records in my office online through a secure designated server because of the sensitivity of the records.
Right, not available to the public. A secure server, like you said.
They could, correct. They could subscribe with me if they wanted to, anybody from the public, or they could come in my office and use the public stations I have within my office at no cost.
Do y'all have any of that backed up on paper? Just curious.
We do.
Good.
We have it backed up on paper. I have it scanned. I have it at 2 off-site locations as well as a on-site.
That's smart. That's very smart.
Yes, it is. Very good. Very good. So that's very, very good. So like you said, it takes a lot of years, a lot of times to get where you want to be.
A lot of hiccups. the cyber thing, for instance, that's pretty. That was pretty bad stuff there.
So I think we were talking about that earlier. Let's because a lot of people let's expound upon the cyber threat right now, because a lot of people write it off as that's just excuses she's got for just she's dragging tail or whatever. No. It's very
bad.
Right. I want to make an account for something that happened to me recently with a cyber attack that it shows you it's very real. And I think you were saying something earlier too, right?
Me and Mom too.
What was your deal earlier?
I Googled MapQuest and got a computer virus at work. Don't Google right now.
Yeah,
I had to sweep my computer. I'm like, this is jacked up, because I was just trying to find a location.
Right.
I'm glad I didn't Google it on my phone.
Yes, you got to be very careful.
And then Mom, they had the cyber attack at the school to cut the air conditioners off. They couldn't do anything.
They were controlling things from the computer.
Everything was off the first 2 days of school. And it's like, geez, if they can do that, what else can they do? And that's a scary thought.
Yes. So what you said is very real. And it's very so you're bringing that to the forefront. What happened to us recently last week was, so we have a Venmo account because we send money to different people. We accept money from people.
Yeah.
We have the Cash App, we have Venmo, we have Google Pay. So this person called us up the other day. We called Eve up, and he goes like, from India. Yes, ma'am. We are with Venmo. Somebody's trying to get in your account. They're trying to take $400. Is this Eve Gyro? And she goes like, it is. I'm going like, God, no. She put me on three with. I said, you should not have said that.
What's his name? Bob.
I said, hang the phone up now. And she said, let me go check my account. They took $400 out of our account.
They do that
in 15 minutes. We had to go to Cottonport Bank and get everything squared away.
Do you know they can actually, lately, people have been just answering the calls that come through, and they're getting charged $200
just for
answering the phone. Not even saying hello at first. As soon as you hit answer, that's it. Done. You're wiped out. That's scary.
So the takeaway is don't do what?
Let it go to voicemail. Now, I'm not sure voicemail is not linked to the same thing as if you answer the phone. Voicemail is technically answering the phone too. Is that safe? Because if it's not, then we're screwed.
Makes you wonder. Yeah.
So I don't know.
Do you get like these weird numbers that call your phone?
I do all the time.
And you know AT&T, and I'm not going to pull them out. Okay, there's a company that starts with A and ends with T.
Right. Exactly.
That has got this system set up that they can, if you pay for it, stop the spam calls.
What? Why not just do it automatically?
Because they're the ones that's doing the spam calls, Dave.
Right, like you said.
It's a gimmick.
It's a cat and mouse game is what it is.
And you know that 90% of the people that work for that A company that ends with T are overseas?
Yes, they are.
If you call, not a single person. Bob does not speak English. Bob
all the calls,
is not spelled B-O-B.
Exactly.
It's B-O-B-B-B-E-A-Y-U-X.
Right. So that brings us back to the importance of cybersecurity in your office. And I really appreciate you taking that extra step. And let's not be in a hurry. Let's do this thing the right way.
Right.
Absolutely, Dave. The office is a very important position, and you are right, is what you said. Very few people actually know what the Clerk of Court's office does. And it has all of your public records.
Yes. Why don't you go and just tell us, give us a rundown of everything the Clerk of Court's office does.
It's everything.
Exactly.
What'd you say, the show is 1 hour?
Right, exactly, right.
Well, we carry everything from successions, marriage licenses,
I hope y'all
property
shredded mine.
transfers,
divorces. Y'all, at least 3 times.
Civil, criminal records. It's just a lot of sensitive, important information. It has your Social Security number. My primary job is to protect and preserve those public records.
Yes.
Right.
And I will not put them out on the internet until I feel comfortable with it. And I can assure you this cyber attack thing is very serious and is very real. Last month, the governor of Louisiana declared a state of emergency for the cyber attack that occurred at the school boards you were talking about.
And that's just the beginning.
Exactly.
Man.
And they also held some state agencies for ransomware as well too.
Wow.
And they take your data and they hold it until you pay the ransom. And
yes,
again, I am very happy about one thing that's going on. The state is starting a cyber facility at the water property right there in Baton Rouge, and they will hopefully in about a year or so be at a really comfortable place to help us proactive against the cyber attacks.
And they need that.
And with all of the safety nets we're putting in with the new module we're going to bring in the office, and that I feel comfortable saying we will be heading in that direction. E-file and e-recording is coming real quick. That's been my biggest challenge in the office, is keeping up with technology.
And you're always going to have that challenge because it's always changing. That's like the iPhones. You can never keep up with it. It's always changing.
Yes, it is. Right. And the public, and this is another thing within the industry, the public has higher and higher expectations as the years go by, higher and higher expectations. Let me get to this question real quick, and it's an honest question that we have to ask. What is the general complaint, or maybe is there a recurring complaint complaint in your office that people come with? I'm not really sure. That's why I'm asking you. Every office, my office has complaints. Your office has complaints.
Mine has them.
Yours has tons of complaints.
Yeah.
So what are some legitimate concerns that the public is bringing to you that you might want to share, and maybe say that you're addressing them, working on in them, or you're aware that they are being taken care of or whatever.
Well,
because we kind of like to balance things out a little bit.
Yeah. Overall, I guess I need to start by saying I have a fantastic staff. I mean, they're extremely friendly. They're extremely knowledgeable. They help me do everything we do, and we've done a lot. Probably the biggest complaint I get is something I have no control over, and that's jury duty.
Right.
And I like jury duty. Well, first of all, you're getting paid to be at work, and you're getting paid to be over there. The only problem I have is the seats hurt.
Yeah.
Them church benches are boogers.
I agree with you. I think I talked to Justice Kimball years ago when she was around and told her that I think we should subpoena all of they were police jurors at the time, subpoena all of them and make them sit on those hard pews for a whole day, and maybe they'll bring some cushions in next time.
Right.
But it didn't happen.
Right.
I
So
don't mind.
how are the names selected for jury duty?
They randomly selected through a computer system.
See, I should have played the lotto. One year I got selected twice within 3 months. 3 months.
Really? Cool.
My name was on there twice, too. There.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
So have you ever served on a jury?
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah.
But I wanted to be a lawyer, so this is like my thing.
Right.
I love it.
Were you the jury for lady or for woman or whatever you want to call it?
And they got me up there. I said one word, and they said, bye, Datha. I'm like, you didn't even give me a chance? Why? I would be really good. He's not guilty yet.
Right.
Okay, maybe he is guilty, but yeah, one word, and I was out.
I've been on a jury a couple of times. Like I said, I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. It's really cool to see how the judicial process works, and it's really amazing. It gives you a lot of respect for them.
Well, you don't have to drive all the way to Baton Rouge to go get paid, and I really like that part.
That will work.
It is truly a service, and we need people to be jurors because you're supposed to be in a jury of your peers. And if everyone who knew someone in this parish would be excused, you wouldn't be sitting before a jury of your peers.
Right.
So
right.
I thank everyone every time they come in for serving, and the judges. As I said, it's his court, it's his jury. He's the only one, too, by the way, that can excuse people.
Right, exactly.
Watch I get jury duty the next 10 months. I don't mind.
Right.
That's funny.
It really is. I really enjoyed it. Jury duty is a lot of fun. It's
educational.
It's very educational. And the thing is, what if, God forbid, one day you got arrested and you were in court? You sure as heck would want an impartial jury.
That's correct.
You don't
I
want
won't
those,
be bad
You don't
to
want
get
those people
arrested.
wigging out and making all kind of lies saying they couldn't make it. So that's right.
Yeah.
Exactly right. So jury duty is kind of one of your biggest things that people come to you with and everything.
And
I noticed that your staff is always bright and friendly and cheerful when I go up in there. It seems like they enjoy working in the office.
Good team.
Very
good team.
Positive
Very good
atmosphere to work in for sure. Are you understaffed right now?
Actually, I am fully staffed right now.
Okay. How many people working with you?
I have 9 full-time
Wow.
and
Nine?
two college students.
Wow, I know.
And
wow.
we are, like I said, right now we have experienced people, we have a few new people, so that always keeps things interesting.
Yeah.
Right.
But as far as dealing with the public, I could not ask for a better staff.
That's
right.
cool.
That's great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so what are your general hours? You same hours as the courthouse pretty much?
We're 8:30 to 4:30,
Okay.
Monday through Friday. The office is open, of course, as Clerk of Court, 24/7.
Right.
Mine's a little bit different because,
Right.
not only do I represent the parish, but the Clerk of Court, not only do I represent you here in the parish, but also on a statewide level too.
Right.
I sat on the board of directors for the Louisiana Clerk of Courts Association.
okay.
I've also been asked twice to sit as president, but declined both times
Wow.
because I just didn't feel like it was a time I could leave the office of my family.
Yeah.
Right.
But also
Yeah.
we attend a lot of meetings. I participate in a lot of legislative stuff because there are bills that affect our office that
Right.
we have to go and either support or oppose.
Right.
Right.
That's a fun job.
It is.
Right. What other government offices do you work very closely with?
We work with of course, with the judge's office. We work with the district attorney's office, the sheriff's office, with probation and parole.
Wow, that's a lot, man.
And with the public defender's office.
Yeah.
And we have a wonderful relationship. My staff has a wonderful relationship with all of them, as I do with those agency heads.
That's the way it's
department
supposed
heads.
to be.
Yeah.
Be a
It is,
family.
it is. And my office, the Clerk of Court's office, is really different than any other governmental entity because we do not get a tax base to run our office.
I was going to
Right.
ask you how you were
Right.
funded.
I am funded by fees collected for the services we provide. And
Interesting.
yeah,
Wow.
and
Wow.
I do not set the price of those fees.
Right.
That's all set by law.
Another
Right.
important thing because they're going like
Yes.
they're upcharging us. Wow.
Yeah, it's set.
So, right.
And so I'm like a CFO or EO for a private firm, only with a governmental title. I have to watch the money coming in every month and make sure the budget is there to pay salaries, benefits.
Oh yeah, that's a big job. But salaries especially.
Yes, and the challenging part about it is, I'm sure it fluctuates. It's not a set amount every month like a tax would be, or so, something like that.
Very, very good question,
Wow.
Dave. It is. In fact, last year we had a really good year because oil and gas came back. But we had about 3 years where I was in a deficit because oil and gas was not here. And in those years, I was able to maintain my staff, the benefits, without cutting anything by using the fund balance that I accumulated during the prior years when oil and gas was here.
Right.
And one thing I learned by being married to a farmer is in the good years, you save for the bad years.
I was going to ask you that.
Because they are usually coming around. And it's
You're
the same
right.
thing with my office. When oil peaks, we do well. When oil drops, we do bad.
Yeah.
And as I said, we do not get any tax base to run it, and
Right.
we do get our space, the courthouse location for free.
Well, that's cool.
As a governmental
Very
entity.
good.
Yeah,
Free
that is
rent.
cool.
That's very, very good. So so I'm president of tourism. A lot of people don't know, but so we just finished wrapping up our yearly budget meeting. We have a budget committee that we set in place, and so we always want to operate in the black. And Ms. Jeannie Andre, she's just amazing. She keeps us well in the black, and we're there to kind of just help her out with that. So we just finished our budget. We're looking good for the next year. We're funded, of course, by tourism dollars, by the the hotel motel taxes.
Yeah.
Police jury, which is now the what is it called again? The city
Parish Council.
Parish Council.
Parish Council.
They give us a certain amount every year, a set fee and everything. So, do you have like any budget meetings like we have to go over like, okay, this is our budget for the upcoming year, our projected budget,
That's a good question.
right?
I do have to prepare a budget every year, and my budget usually is around $950,000.
Cool.
Wow.
That's a good budget.
Last year it was a little over $1 million because oil and gas was good, but during the bad years it went down as low as $500,000.
Yeah, but that's hard when you got a lot of employees.
It is,
yeah.
but that's why
Right.
my financial background and my administrative background has been such an asset to the office because I knew how to maintain that by using fund balance, and I'm real pleased to say that during the down years, I have been able to refurbish the fund balance I used in the last 2 years with the oil and gas activity we've
replenish
had.
it pretty much.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
I
pretty
replenished it.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, talking about tourism and tax dollars,
Yes.
while I, again, do not get any tax dollars, I know the importance of it. As controller of the city and new roads, I know for every $1 that comes into our parish, it flips 7 to 9 times before it leaves our parish.
Wow.
So with that said, that's another reason I hate to see us go totally to internet, because right now currently we have abstractors, title people, attorneys. They come into town to use the office. They eat at our restaurants. They stay at our hotels.
Yes.
They put gas in their car coming and going. So they help and
Yes.
support a tax base that we have
Case
here.
in point, here to Julian Parter's building where we're located right now, we're filming. Second floor down here is completely occupied by that oil and gas company. They're here. They're buying up oil leases and everything. So they're spending money. They must be making good money. Everybody in their parking lot's got some very nice vehicles down there. So.
Well, pin a rose on their nose.
Right. And they all have Texas license plates. So like you said, they're here spending money in the parish. I'm sure a lot of those guys go to your office on a regular basis.
Those are the ones that help, that I was talking about, that boosted my revenue so much over the past few years, because what they do is they come and they do all the abstract work. So they're paying for copies, they're filing leases, and we
Right.
charge for those services, and that's how we run our office.
Right.
So
And
yeah,
the
that's
cool-
been a big shot.
The cool part about it is you're the only game in town. They can't go anywhere else but you.
That's
Right.
That's right. That's right.
That's awesome. So who do y'all report to? Who's above y'all as far as who do you answer to? I just out of curiosity. I don't know. I mean, what's the hierarchy structure?
She
of how
said,
that
I answer my own questions. I got this.
Exactly right. Right, exactly.
Actually, Dave, I
Or do you
am.
answer-
It's the buck stops
So
here.
you answer
is it.
right.
The buck stops
right,
here. Now,
right.
with that said, there is a law that says, should mayor, anyone coming in behind me, decide to just bust the budget open completely, the police jury has to pick up the ticket.
Okay.
So it
Oh.
is critical that the person in
Everybody's
that
gotta
position
stay.
knows the financial aspect, budgeting
Right.
aspect,
Yes.
and how to maintain it and run it, because I could right now go order all new computers, copiers, and just walk to the police jury office and give them an invoice, and by law they have to pay it.
Oh, wow.
But
Wow.
I have never done that, nor did my predecessor. I want to
Keep
say
the
he
old
ran.
computers, though.
Yeah,
The
you're
new
right.
ones might be boogers.
You're
Right.
right.
Right. Right.
My-
Interesting.
My predecessor ran a conservative office. He
Yes.
funded it, and been fortunate enough to be able to do the same
and
thing.
so,
Cool.
so the thing with him is like we talk about a whole different other time and place back before computers were, technology wasn't even available back then. So it's like they did the best they could with, like you said, paper record keeping.
I'm a big fan of paper keeping because you never know when something is going to crash. Always have paper as a backup plan.
You always talk about that too.
I do because that's just me, but
Right.
I know what can happen.
Right.
It's scary.
Keep stuff on either like a thumb drive and a safety deposit box or something.
I
Keep
have
important
that.
records and safety deposit
The
boxes.
only problem is a computer crashes. You can't get nothing off the thumb
No,
drive.
you can't.
So then
No,
you
you
might as well take. I think like
Right.
pictures and stuff. I'd rather have real life pictures, but I got like
Yes.
1,000. So actually, I probably got about 1 million. It costs a lot of money to print all my pictures out.
Right.
But if a computer ever crashes, I'm in trouble.
Right. You have to wait about another, 200 years for society to get back up to technology.
I'm gonna have to start chiseling my children,
Right.
painting them. They won't look the same if I paint
Yeah,
them.
3D statues of your kids in your house. So basically, really, the people that you really answer to are the citizens of this parish, pretty much.
Absolutely.
Right.
That's who I basically
Yeah.
work for, protect, and
That's amazing. So
preserve
you're-
their records. And we
Yeah.
do keep paper backups of everything. We actually scan them. We have 2 locations off-site as well as one on-site where
Yeah.
we keep it.
Great.
My
That's very smart.
abstractors, the people you're talking about downstairs, they want to see the actual original records.
And
we
that's
have
understandable.
They want to see the originals, look at them. We have some old records. We have records dated back to 1771.
Well, yeah.
Jeez.
Wow, that's cool.
I
And that's
know.
neat.
It
A lot of
is.
stuff you want actual factual signatures. You want notary stamps. You want this. I mean, a lot of places are still based on paper.
Right.
Motor vehicles, wildlife, fisheries. We need hardcore paper.
Yes. But with that said, the
Yeah.
unfortunate part is we are moving very quickly toward e-filing and e-recording.
I know.
And that's the part that we've been working on for a few years to make sure that when we do get there, that everything is safe and secure. And
Yes.
it's a big job.
It
And
is.
I'm not moving into it. I'm not going to jump into it until I feel comfortable because, again, my primary job is to protect and preserve those records. And I'm
Right.
very fortunate. My predecessor did a wonderful job to keep the records we have back from 1771.
1771.
Yeah.
And I'm
That's
also-
crazy.
And I've been working on some preservation projects. I've been working with UC Berkeley.
You need to put that thing in a box.
Yeah, we have some wonderful things. You need to
Wow.
come to the office one day
Yeah,
and look
we
at
need
what
to
we
go there and
have.
visit her one
Wow,
day.
man,
So
that's
yeah,
neat.
maybe on a Friday we'll drop in and come say our hello and everything. That's amazing. All right, when you walk in your office, I hadn't been there in a few months, but straight to the right, there's that huge, big old book. Is that like the marriage records? What is that?
Oh,
Huge
goodness.
book?
That's the indices of
Okay,
all of the
right.
marriage
Okay.
records. It's a touchy
Right.
subject with you.
Right.
I just want
Right.
to make sure everything would. Hey, it costs a lot to get out of a marriage.
Look, if she
Yeah.
comes walking in your
Sweat.
office and she has a little bottle of white out, you better watch her.
Oh no,
Watch her.
babe! I am shredding. Whiteout's temporary. Shred is permanent. Remember this.
I have a feeling you're not the only girl in this parish who feels that way.
Probably my best experience with someone that wanted to shred their marriage license was, and this is a true story, you can't make this up. They evidently got into a fight the night after the wedding
The
Oh
night
no!
after.
and tore the marriage license up, didn't return it to us, so had a legal question, am I still married? Because I didn't come
That
back
is
and
a
bring the
superb
marriage license.
question.
Yes, it is.
At which point I referred them to go talk to the attorney.
Right.
This is a civil matter. I cannot address that. Sorry.
Right.
That is a good question.
That
though.
is very interesting. Wow. I wonder if they were sober when they got married. Who knows? I mean,
Look.
these days.
Next time I get married, it will not be on paper. I'm just saying.
I hear you. Well, you told me you never get married
I'm not.
again.
But if I ever did and the guy actually wanted to marry me and it was a good start off, I am
Right.
not doing it on
I
paper.
hear you. This is on record, y'all.
I'm
On
not
Dave K
doing it
Show.
on paper.
The Dave K Show with Datha Buriege. This is on record.
Got to find the right guy.
Yes, you do. He's out there somewhere. You just got to look hard enough.
Well, I probably
Um,
found him. He just ain't noticed it yet.
Right. Right.
It's gonna take him a little time, even though
Yes.
he's older. He's still he's got a like a fine wine. I guess he's got to sit for a while and
There you
fester.
go.
Age.
That's right. So a little thing with me, like weddings are something because they are legal documents and they hold a lot of weight, because we always go like in the eyes of God and the state. And we got two functions.
Well,
two
it'll be in
things
the
here.
eyes of God, but it will not be in the state. I can't do it.
Right.
It's
Right.
just a mental thing. It's like it costs a lot of money to have that piece of paper shredded up.
It does. That's why you got to make doggone sure when you say those vows that that's what you want to do, But so the thing with me is I've been doing like wedding video for years. I've done hundreds and hundreds of wedding videos. So there's a bunch of videos that I've done. I haven't even got the doggone video finished yet, and they're filing for day separating.
Stop it!
Yes, I'm serious.
How
And I
long were
don't
they
give-
together before they got married? I'm
well-
telling you, marriage changes people. This is the honest truth.
It depends, because you hear people that they were together for like 6 weeks, got married, and they live happily ever after as husband and wife, no problem at all. Then they lived together for 10 years, got married,
That's
and 2
why
years
you
later
have
get
to
divorced.
test that water before you drown in it.
Uh-oh, there you go.
Yeah, you got to, man. Step out and wait for a second. Make sure it's not rough tides, because
Well,
if it's rough tides, you're screwed.
I
Get back
can't-
in the wait zone.
I
Get back on the
can't
beach.
argue with that. I can't argue with that. Takeaway point from that is marriage is very important. Think before you do anything and make something drastic like that.
Well, it does help.
How did that situation turn out? Did you ever hear?
No, I never did hear.
Okay.
As you just stated, I said, if you had witnesses there, then
Right.
you're married. But
Right, so
you
My
gotta go talk to
witnesses
your-
doesn't remember. It's a lie, I'm telling you. That wasn't me.
We also have to make you laugh, because I've said this several times before. You're talking about how expensive it is. A marriage license, I think, is like $27.50. So when I give it to them, I say, yeah, your marriage license, we make it easy to get in, but it's very expensive to get out.
This is true.
Cheap to get in, but expensive to get
Yes,
out.
And that one little
indeed.
piece of paper is some expensive shred.
Yes. Add kids to the mix.
Kids ain't bad.
I mean,
Kids
as
ain't
far as
bad.
expenses, though,
Oh,
add kids to
yeah.
the mix. Somebody's
I
paying
know.
for those kids.
I am right now.
There you go. I hear
Them
you.
boogers are eating a lot of food these days.
That's what they do.
Killing me
That's
with
their job
food.
description. That's
And
right.
I'd like to add, too, since we're talking about it, because you asked about some of the complaints, and it came to my mind when you were talking about divorce, because when in our civil filings, when people come in to file for a divorce, we have to collect an advance deposit, and it's usually pretty high. It's probably like $450 or something.
Yeah.
But 80 cents on the dollar almost goes out the door for us, because we collect by the agencies. We have to collect for the sheriffs, the judges supplemental, the judicial administrators. So
Okay.
when a fee comes into the clerk's office, it's not 100% for the clerk's office. And that has
Interesting.
been something that I've had to explain over the years to people, because that too is also set by law as to what we have to collect.
Right. That makes sense.
That's interesting.
Well, you
Wow.
always got to have a
Man.
judge when you divorce. You may have to have the PSO over there, because who knows who's going to act up.
Yeah,
You right.
right. That's true.
Make you a
Let's
little
all
money
be-
when you
let's all
got to
be
arrest
civil
them
here.
for beating each other up.
That's right. Let's all be
Throwing a
civil.
pot at somebody.
Exactly.
Don't mess with me.
That's great. So Clerk of Court's office has a lot of different things in the background that we're not even aware of, and it makes the machinery of a community work.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So
It's the hidden talents.
yes,
Yep.
it really does, and the fact that you're one part of the whole machine, which is even more interesting. And what a vital service you guys offer, and in every parish and county in this whole country, we have Clerk of Court's office
They-
offices.
Thank you. They are in the background a lot. But the reason I ran for it is because it's an administrative position. I mean,
Yes.
when I campaigned, I told people, I really don't like politics. And my husband was like, you can't keep telling people you don't like politics. You're running for clerk of court.
Right.
And I said, but it's an administrative position, and that's what I'm good at.
Right.
And so I will say that's
Right.
the part that I really like, is the administrative part. The political part, when we have to go down to the Capitol legislation to discuss various laws that pertain to our offices, is not what I really enjoy. I leave that to
Sure.
people like Jeremy Lacombe.
Right, exactly, right. Let me ask you this. What would be the difference between your clerk of court's office and, say, like one of the biggest ones in the state, like maybe the New Orleans clerk of court's office? I know we know the size is a difference. Do they have different things that they offer that you don't or can't offer?
Yeah,
Because the resources just like you.
Yeah, but they get a lot of money coming in too, though. I
Right.
mean, Bourbon Street alone.
well,
When they're not fighting.
yeah. New Orleans is actually, first of all, they're not as friendly as us. I'm going to put a plug for us
yeah,
right
that
there.
makes sense.
Yeah.
You
I
can't
got
get
that.
much help over there. But New
That makes
Orleans,
sense.
New Orleans is different. They are different than us. They do
Right.
get some other funding but every other clerk's office in the parish is self-sufficient, like my office is.
Right.
And
Yes.
it ranges. I mean, the smaller offices who aren't as fortunate as us to have the oil and gas activity and the beauty of False River and real estate, they're really struggling. They're struggling right now,
Right.
and that's why they have to depend heavily upon the fees, and the fees are set the same across the state for everyone.
Yeah.
So we talk about every single parish and county in the United States has a clerk of court's office.
Correct. Every
So we
parish
talk about
has a clerk of courts.
6,400 clerk of courts offices nationwide. That's how many parishes and counties there are. That's
Well,
amazing.
that's off the top of your head.
But it's approximate. But
Well,
it's like
Oh,
6,000.
I was
yeah.
about to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now the
Right,
now
it's a lot.
I'll tell you the difference. Louisiana is the only state that does not have a tax base to run the office. Y'all heard me say that
Yes, that's
earlier.
right,
If
that's
you
right.
look on your tax notice, your millage, you'll see the police, jury, assessor, sheriff, school board, fire district. You won't see the clerk of court.
That's true.
Only Louisiana. We are the only state that's like that. Every other state has a tax base to run their office.
Interesting.
And it makes it challenging, and that's why I stress the importance of my background coming into this position, and that's why I did so much research to make sure that, one, that I could do it, and one, that I wanted to do it.
Right.
If I would love to just have, a big millage check put on my desk and say, run your office for a year.
If I win the lotto or Powerball, if I win the Powerball, I'll do that for you.
There you go.
I have to win the Powerball.
I'm going to hold you to that.
Yes.
I will. I don't mind.
It's been recorded.
That will be my third place because I already have 2 places in mind that I want to donate.
There you go.
Yep.
That's
Why not
great.
bring it back to the
That's
parish,
it.
right?
That's exactly right. Yeah. So that is very, very good. So how are we looking on time, Tim? Just so we kind of make sure our next little topic we go into 4 minutes.
40.
Are we in 40 minutes? Okay, so we got about 20. We got about 20 to go. 20 surplus. We want to use all our time, but we can. All right. So anything you want to discuss before we go any further? You have some notes right there if you want to go over.
Yeah, I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about the old records because I kind of touched on to it.
That is cool.
We have some phenomenal records in our office. In fact, we have Julian Porges's last will and testament.
Come on.
We have
handwritten.
Handwritten with the dip pins.
Neat. Oh.
Jeez, we gotta go check that out.
That's cool.
And it has been preserved by a private individual. I didn't ask them if I could mention their name, so
Sure.
I would rather not. Maybe
Sure.
on a later show, if it's okay with y'all,
Yeah.
can bring it back up. But they paid to preserve Julian Porges's last will and testament, and I'm going to and I've provided a copy to the Historical Society down here
Yes.
already.
Great.
I just finished a project with UC Berkeley, and they also paid to do a preservation of one of my older books. To preserve one book cost around $2,500 to $2,800.
Okay.
And
As a lump or like monthly?
no, one to do one big book, one old book is 27 to 20. But I get it. They take the book apart and they do what's called a deacidification, dehumidification, preservation. So these records, you have to remember, have been there for 200 plus years.
Yeah.
And now they'll be preserved forever because we're also digitizing them and we're putting them in a format to where there won't be any deterioration of the pages of paper anymore.
Y'all gonna put like an airtight container or something?
Every page is preserved, is in a seal. You'd have to come see it. It's beautiful.
Wow, that's
They're just
amazing.
beautiful books.
That's neat.
And so UC Berkeley just did one with me, and right now we're working with a professor out of Nicholls State University,
Wow.
along with Julie Lee here from New
yeah.
Roads.
Yes.
And she's been instrumental. In fact, she's been the backbone pushing a lot
Yes.
of this. As you can tell, I have a lot of irons in the fire, and without her and her little army of people, we wouldn't
Yeah.
get this done.
Yeah, she's a
but
go-getter.
she is, and it's off and rolling now, and I'm hoping in the coming years we'll be able to really push these old books because I have about 100 of them in archives in Baton Rouge right now waiting for preservation.
I'm so scared books are gonna go away. It's the thought that it is possible, not scary, because everything's electronic.
Right.
I
Yes.
mean, nobody goes to the
Yeah.
libraries anymore, hardly.
It's true. You're right.
Books
Yeah.
are going to go away, and that's sad because a book is important. Have you ever seen the Book of Eli?
I heard about it. Yes. The
Have
Book of
you?
Eli. The Book
That's
of
a good
Eli.
movie.
Yeah, the movie. Right.
Yeah.
Like all the books went away because it was the end of the world except one book.
Right. That's your viewers' homework for the homework assignment.
Got to watch it. Yeah,
Watch
it's really good.
Yes.
It's Denzel Washington. Why not? You know,
Yes.
he's a great actor.
All right. So what happened in that scenario? The books are gone. What happened?
All the books went away except for one book. Well, no, all this particular book went away except for this one book.
The only book available to read.
It was a Bible.
There you go.
And it was awesome. The whole movie is
Yes.
awesome. His whole trial, the whole movie is based on him keeping that book alive
Yes. Right.
because it's the only one left.
Exactly, which goes into the thing with preservation is so important, like you were saying. So you have about 100 books
Yes.
in the collection. Of course, we have the 300th anniversary of Pointe Coupee coming up
Yes.
next year. I think it is, right?
300
years
years.
old.
Yes.
And you were saying the oldest thing that you had was from 1770.
1771.
71,
and yeah,
right.
and the reason we have some of the oldest books is because Pointe Coupee was an original point of settlement back in the day. False River was part of the Mississippi River,
yeah.
and so we were original port of entry. The only other parish that has records older than us is Natchitoches.
What?
So we have
That's
some.
cool.
So
yeah.
I am like caught back in the time with preservation with the old books and moving forward with the challenges of technology with the new
Right.
computer systems.
Wow.
So it's never a dull moment around
No.
there.
Sounds
but
good,
but
yeah. Sounds
I
good.
love every minute of it. I've been very fortunate, and as I said, I couldn't do it without the help of my staff. They're fantastic. That
Right.
allows me. They do the day-to-day operation, which allows me to do the administrative stuff, get the funding. I'm getting both public and private funds to do this stuff. I've received some grants. So
Right.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Grants are very important too. It seems like every grant that we apply for is a matching grant. We got to have it dollar for dollar, which is kind of aggravating sometimes, but I can understand why. So some of the grants, if y'all have received in the past, are they dollar for dollar, or do you get like the whole grant? Or
I've had a little bit of both. I've had some that I've had to do a matching on, and some that has been just a outright grant.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of the money went away when the recession and they tightened up on all of the grants.
Yeah.
So it's challenging today, and that's why I'm going to push more of trying to get the private sector, the universities that want to research, they want to use my books. In turn, we do a contract, and they pay to. And it doesn't cost office a penny. So
Well, that's cool.
Yes, I got to ask you this. So with tourism, we benefited when the BP oil spill, and they was dishing out all that money in the parish. Did y'all benefit from the BP?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not a drop.
Not a drop.
No pun intended.
Not at all.
Right. So,
I wouldn't even think it like
so,
that.
right. So, yeah, that's pretty sad. Well, we did benefit from it. We got a lot of money from BP Amoco, and but it dried up already.
You're going to get a bunch more if people keep getting flesh-eating bacteria.
I know, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
That's a scary thought.
And it's astounding the huge amount of money those people had, as much money they were giving out.
Did you hear crabs are mating where the BP oil spill was on the
Really?
platform?
What?
Don't eat crabs anymore, y'all.
Wow.
That cannot be good for your health.
No, they're taking all kind of garbage up in that area.
Boy, they having
Jeez.
fun up there.
Right.
Them crabs. Psst,
Wow.
I would not eat a crab right now.
Right.
I'm thinking that's the part of the show I'm not going to enjoy that comment right there. I love crabs, and I'm going to have a hard time
Look,
eating them from now on.
Look, I've heard horror stories about crab and shrimp. You just don't want to know.
No,
Right.
you're right.
From
Working
the
in
Gulf.
wildlife and fisheries.
But that's true.
I've
from the-
heard
yeah.
some stuff.
So-
I'll still eat it. I don't care. But before the BP oil spill, before I knew all that,
Right.
I knew what they were eating before, and I was totally okay with it. And that may make me weird, but crab is good meat.
Well, are
Whether
there
these
other
people or
places?
not.
Are there other places to get stuff besides the Gulf? I mean, that we know about.
Yeah, but it's not real though. I
Right.
mean, you want
like crawfish.
real
We get
oil-
crawfish from Japan or somewhere.
No, I wouldn't do that. But even though you don't know,
Right.
I don't know.
Interesting. Very
It's scary. You just you got to be so careful with all this stuff floating in the water right now that everybody keeps getting.
Yes.
It's gonna eventually affect all our seafood, and it's scary because your oysters are gonna like whenever the Mississippi was drifting into Lake Pontchartrain and they had the dead zone,
Yes.
all the oysters died out, which means they're gonna go up if they ever start making more. Shrimp's gonna get messed up. Crabs are gonna get
Yes,
messed
a chain
up.
reaction.
Yeah, and it's bad.
Right.
Do you eat it? Because I mean, if crabs are eating everything and they're in that atmosphere, do they not take the atmosphere with them when you eat it, which makes you sick?
That's
Kind
right.
of like
Yeah.
the deer with the CDC, chronic waste disease, CWD, whatever it is.
Right. Right.
You know what that is, right?
No, I have not heard about it. What is that?
Really?
No,
Okay.
chronic waste
okay,
disease.
this brings zombies into play, people. This is how bad this stuff
chronic
is.
waste disease.
Deer get this chronic waste disease. So far, it's not in Louisiana. It's at the Mississippi line. So we've kept it out of Louisiana. But basically, it's a disease that eats the deer's brains.
Interesting.
You can't when you
Wow.
cross the state lines with a deer. You cannot bring their heads in.
Ah.
No brain matter whatsoever. The spinal
Wow.
cord has to be detached. All
so
this
it's a
stuff.
neurological
Yeah,
thing,
and
right.
all this stuff is affected. So it makes you
Wow.
wonder that if you're eating this stuff, is it not affecting you too? Because this stuff is like really bad. It affects elk, deer. I think moose may be involved in it.
Right, those classes of
It's cleaning out the deer
amazing.
population.
That is incredible.
But it's not
Wow.
in Louisiana yet. We've
Right.
been good keeping it out.
Right.
It's in Mississippi. I think Texas has it, and I think Arkansas may have it. It's all around us.
Right. So I mean, yeah, you just have to be careful. You have to take your chances.
I don't know, Dave.
If I could add,
Go for it. Yeah.
I just need one more thing before
No,
I
you
leave,
got
because
the
we've kind
floor.
of covered. Well, we've kind of covered my office pretty well, but I
Okay,
neglected to
yeah.
mention one other hat that I wear, and that's Chief Election Officer.
Oh,
I
and
forgot about that. Yes.
Yes, and I have to say that I have some wonderful commissioners, and election day I have approximately right under 200 people that work for me that day.
wow.
Everybody from state investigators that come down, state people to my commissioners. The commissioners get up, y'all, they're at the precinct sometimes 5:30 in the morning. They're there till 8:39 at night.
Yeah, they work hard.
They
yes.
they're required to come to class at least once a year, sometimes twice a year, that they don't get paid for. So it's really a public service, and I would love to see
Yes.
more younger people get involved to be commissioners. It's a
Yes.
long day, but those people are the people that really make this election
Right,
roll.
they sure do. You're right about that. And what an important job it is, too, because we have the freedom to vote for who we want to vote for in our elections, and we take it for granted so much time. I mean, how many people in the world have that, freedom? Not many people. We look at the whole world.
Yep.
That's
Exactly.
incredible. That's incredible.
Constitutionally.
So so that's what I say. I say go vote for the candidate of your choice, and whatever election you are, wherever you may be, make sure you go out and vote. And because you can't complain if you don't vote, right?
That is correct.
Yeah, but I don't want to hear it. We can't complain. Don't put no email messages on our board or anything if you didn't vote. So that's great. So chief election officer. So we got a few minutes left. How did you get that job? I mean,
Well, that's part as
that was part of
your clerk of court and chief election
yeah,
officer,
okay.
and that of course when you have an election, you always have a winner, and you always have a loser.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I will say that the losers usually handle it very well. Every now and
Right.
then you get one off the grid that doesn't want to admit that they lost the election and they won't let it go.
Right.
But
Yes.
but for the most
Right.
part, it's everybody's really good about it, and they appreciate the commissioners and the work they do and the long hours they put in.
Right.
And again, we could never do this process without them. And
Yes.
go look at New Orleans; they're running into problems right now because they can't get enough people to work the polls. For them.
They have
Really?
a lot of
Yes.
people
Really?
too. Yeah, they
Wow.
have a lot of people.
Yes, they do. And so, like you said, at least on face value, everybody seems to be very, very cordial after an election. I don't know what happens behind the scenes, but everybody gives a good public image of being a good sport about it and everything. And so
Yes.
that's really, really good. So, that is awesome. Well, is there anything else you want to cover? You got a lot of notes there. You sure? Look at your notes good. Make sure.
No,
She came very prepared.
Right.
I know.
Make sure.
I just wanted to want to thank you all for allowing
Yes.
me the time to be on the show to talk about the position, the importance of it.
Yes.
To let people know about my staff, and
Absolutely.
they're friendly, knowledgeable, and to invite anyone that has any questions to please contact me or my staff, or contact someone who uses the office on a regular basis.
Right, yeah.
Don't look at anything negative or inaccurate on social media.
Yes.
Just
Yeah.
Right.
come ask us. We're
Yes,
there.
that's right. Customer
That's
reviews.
cool.
That's right. 5-star customer reviews. That's right. Well, that's very, very good. Well, so good to have you over here. We'll have you again later on for
Oh,
sure.
absolutely.
Thank you. I'd love to come back.
Yes.
I'd love for y'all to come to the office
Yes.
and look at the old books.
I want to now. That's awesome.
And I will tell you one more thing, and I won't take much time, but I
go
also
ahead.
have the old Cypress ballot boxes that were used back in the
that's
day.
neat.
Okay.
And I'm getting ready to kick off, y'all hearing it first, but I'm getting ready to kick off a bidding process for the ballot boxes in the future, and I'm going to use the money from the ballot boxes to restore and preserve the historical colonial records.
That's
Yes.
a good idea.
Lot of
That's smart
stuff going
thinking.
on.
That's
That is
smart
a good
thinking.
idea,
You're
yep.
thinking, no pun intended again, outside the box. You're thinking outside the box. So that's great. That's awesome.
That's a good one, Dave.
That's true. I don't try to think of these things. They just come in my mind. But it's
That's
true.
me, Dave.
Yes, that's really cool. All right, well, that sounds great. So what I want to talk about, thank you for being on the show. We're definitely going to have you on in a future date because
Absolutely.
we always invite our guests to come back.
Oh, yeah.
Recurring guests
Thank
is
you.
where it's at because that means you're happy with us. I want to go back on the Dave K show with Datha B. That's awesome.
What, and
So,
Dave?
what?
You totally forgot yourself on that one.
With Dave K show with Datha B. Dave K is implied that it's me because it's the Dave K show
I got
with
you.
Datha B.
I got you.
So I want to talk about
Dave
some
and Dave.
things that we got coming up pretty soon. We got our 50th podcast. This is show number 39 right here that we've done already. So
Jeez.
Bud Tarris is coming in after you in a few minutes. So he'll be show number 40. And
40,
this will be
y'all.
his second appearance on the show too.
It is, yep.
And so what we're having our 50th podcast. We're going to make it a Christmas / 50th podcast celebration, Christmas party celebration, and you're cordially invited. All of our past guests are going to be invited.
Yep.
Thank you.
We're going to glam it up. It's going to be formal. We're going to have the limousines, red carpet, paparazzi. We're going to just blow it up big. All of our musical guests that we had. We're
Yep.
gonna, Bud Tarr is going to be playing some music. So all of our other musical guests. It's going to be a lot of fun. And it's just to kind of network and just celebrate. Hey, look. We were one of the first ones in Pointe Coupee to get a podcast, and we had a show a while back to get local people to come on and talk about their things. When the cable channel was running, we ran that till they stopped it. But I'm going like, you know what? We don't need cable vision. We'll start our own show up. And that's what we did right here.
Yep.
So we're celebrating Pointe Coupee talent, Pointe Coupee musicians, Pointe Coupee personalities, everything Pointe Coupee Parish, and get it out in the world.
Yep.
My job as tourism is to push our parish and our state tourism.
Yep.
And this is one way that I can do that with this show right here. Is that cool? You think?
I think that's wonderful. I
Right.
think that's
Right.
wonderful. And we have
Yes.
the historical records if you need to use them in anything that y'all doing
Yeah,
with the
we might do that for sure. Yeah, just to
coming
get some
shows.
some
and
stats or whatever.
Especially with the anniversary coming up.
We might
That
bring
is
we might
cool.
bring
Yeah,
our cameras if it's okay and do a little segment
Absolutely.
and show
Yeah.
show the things that you're talking about.
Absolutely. We'd
That-
love to have y'all.
yeah,
That would be
that's
fun.
We have a lot of good stuff in the office.
Oh, yeah, 1771.
Yes.
That's
Right.
insane.
So before we go further, I'm just now thinking of something. So have you worked with Brian Costello with anything?
Oh yeah, Brian has done a lot of stuff. Brian knows my office like the back of his hand.
We need to get
He's
Brian
done,
Costello over here.
He's done a lot of his research has come from the office. In fact, when I started doing the preservation of the books, I contacted Brian to ask him which one should I preserve first, because he knew the historical value of them.
Yeah, right. He's a walking encyclopedia himself.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we need to download his brain.
That is a word that most children of this age group right now, that these little kids that are like my kids age 16 and under, have no idea what an encyclopedia
no,
is.
they don't remember an encyclopedia salesman coming door to door selling you those encyclopedias.
I don't remember that either. But
Really? You don't remember that?
No, I never. But my grandma has a world encyclopedia book that she gave me, the Britannica.
Yeah.
I have the whole set in my
Really?
office. I love those books.
Yeah, it's like A to B, C to D.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
I know. And I
Yes.
try to show it to my kids. They're like, I'm not reading that. I'm like, but this shit you don't understand. This is Google before Google was Google.
That's what.
That's
Exactly.
right.
That's what
I mean,
it was.
be for real.
That was your reference. That was the whole. The whole world is those
Yeah.
encyclopedias. Yes, I scoured through mine from A to Z when my parents had them.
I love them.
Yes, they were.
I think they're so cool. I'm going to keep them.
Now you can buy them in thrift stores. They have encyclopedia sets at thrift stores in Baton Rouge. I saw those.
And
really
nobody knows nowadays what that is. These poor children are being so misinformed by Google.
Yes, they are. Right.
And Google don't know everything.
Watch Wikipedia too, because it's right most of the time. But just verify your sources when you do research and everything.
Yeah. Don't believe everything you read.
Right.
Google will have you dead before from a thumbnail tie. You know, get the little hangnails. Google say you're dying from a hangnail.
Right.
You can't believe everything Google
Yeah.
says.
Right. That's
You'll
true.
be in the emergency room forking over hundreds of dollars over a thumbnail.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a whole other thing there for sure. So, being that our 50th podcast celebration is coming up, Datha and I are going to be going around and show them the posters right here. We're going to be putting these posters out on businesses all over the place, restaurants. We're going to go to Racks, go over there, go to Sandbar, Exxon stations, all the different places and everything.
Pretty cool.
So yeah, so this right here just kind of tells us who we are. What does it say on there? We have music.
Oh yeah, news, music, call-ins, opinion, which we do like comments, call-ins. You know, all
Yeah,
that
and
good
we were
stuff.
representing the white. What does it say down there?
Represent Louisiana businesses, film, and music talent.
Yes. So that's what we're all about right there.
Everything.
That is what we're all about.
Everything.
Yep. So I got to give a shout out to our logo. Bud Tars helped us design our logo. Isn't that pretty?
He did.
With
He gave
the, with
us
the pretty
all,
K and everything on here.
Yeah.
So shout out to Bud. Bud originally wanted to put a horseshoe right here. I'm gonna go. A horseshoe is just
Yeah.
it's too country for us. I'll put the wood back here, but I'm not gonna put a horseshoe
It's
on
like
here.
the word boots. It just doesn't sound right. I
Right,
just can't-
exactly.
No, I'm not West.
So
That
we
looks
decided.
really
See,
good.
this has a theme to hold it up again. This has a theme because I like to go back to the '90s where we had the big old silver knobs on the stereos. And that's what these are.
Is that what that is?
Yes, these are like silver knobs on a
Yeah,
90s stereo.
yeah.
That's what it is.
Oh, that's
And if you
cool.
look
I like
close,
that.
if you look close, there's a little dot on there that shows you like where your
I see it, yeah.
where your knob is on your stereo.
I
Oh,
thought they were
that's-
just little silver.
That's very creative,
I like
Dave.
it.
I like
We're
it.
all nostalgic. We like the 80s and 90s, so I kind
I
of go
like
back. And if you look at our logo and our opening on our show, Datha's, she got a record player.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
So that kind of like goes back to the 80s right there. But anyway,
Yeah,
that's
record
cool.
players are neat.
Yes. I got one over there. I'm transferring a lot of records. I love listening to records.
That's
They're-
the crackle.
Yes, even the crackles. Oh, you got to have the crackles. Yes, that's awesome.
I don't think I ever actually had one. I bought my mom and dad one not too long ago from Target. I think was selling them, and I bought them one, but it doesn't crackle like you
Right.
think it does. I even went to a thrift store and bought them a bunch of records. I don't think they ever even played the stupid thing.
Wow.
But it's got a cassette player too and a radio. I mean, this thing is decked out and CD.
Yes. That's
It's
great.
wood. Oh, it's so vintage looking, but
Yeah.
it's not really vintage because it's
Right.
got all the new age stuff in it. But I don't think it crackles.
Right. That's good for our kids growing up. They need to know where we came from, right? They need
Well,
to
I mean,
know
like
that.
me, the only thing I don't have is an 8-track, which I don't know what an 8-track is other than a humongous cassette
Right.
player.
So you remember the 8-tracks, right?
Oh, yeah.
Did y'all have y'all in y'all vehicles?
Oh, yeah.
They were in cars.
Yes, they were in
Yes,
cars.
The big old thing. You never lose that
Yes.
tape.
Right. And if I remember correctly, you couldn't rewind them, could you? You could only fast forward them or
What?
press the button to go.
Oh,
Well, how
You
do you
remember
get
that?
to the beginning of
You
it?
got to just wait.
Oh, no, there's no
I
way.
think you're right, Dave. I forgot about that.
Yes.
I don't know.
It had 4 buttons in this 8 tracks. I think it goes forwards and backwards. And if you miss something, you just have to go all the way to the end and just wait for it to replay all over again.
As
and listen to
if.
it.
That's a lot of waiting.
Yes.
What did
Which
you flip it over? Could you listen to the
you
other
can't
side?
flip it over. It only goes in
No,
one way.
Dave.
Yes.
And you had to listen to
This-
this. No
Yeah.
wonder they went out. Man,
But
that's
see,
crazy.
Well, they were smart because it forced you to listen to all the songs, one more time
Yeah.
before you go back
You
over.
couldn't skip them.
You know, my
Yes.
car records CDs and it does that. I can't. You gotta. Yeah, I just.
Right.
We can't record one song on it and be like, that's the best song ever. You record the entire CD before you even realize it. It's like that fast, right?
Right. Yes.
So it's in the hard drive of the car. You have to keep hitting fast forward to get to the.
Really? I didn't know that in your car you had all that stuff.
Yeah, my car's a little
amazing.
smart. It's too smart.
Well, I love technology, and the technology is fun going, but I loved the old technology. The old vintage stuff was just so fun. It's fun to mess around with tapes because I got like a tape deck over here. I got a couple of VCRs, a bunch of old video cameras with tapes. I love just playing a tape and a camera or a VCR are just so fun. It just brings back that feel of back in the 80s and 90s. When everybody had VHS cassette tapes and they would record TV shows, and then they go record their kids playing in the pool.
Yeah,
and record another TV show afterwards.
See, I did that. I tried to get Days of Our Lives and Sunset Beach, and I never got Sunset Beach to the end because it only recorded 8 hours. So I'd press record before I go to school, got all the Days of Our Lives, but never got the end of Sunset Beach.
Right.
But after all the characters dying 20 times, you start getting tired of watching it.
Right.
Like, how many times is Stefano going to die?
True.
Really?
At that point, you go look at the commercials, the old Price of Blonde commercials. Darling, back when Price of Blonde was still living.
They still do that, huh?
But now with Price of Blonde, he died, of course.
Yeah, but his son does it now.
His son carried the tradition on. They sure did, yeah.
I only know the example. I don't have TV.
Do you remember New Generation? New Generation in Baton Rouge in the 80s. They sold all the stereos, all the high-end cameras.
Yeah.
That in Florida Boulevard, that was a place to be, New Generation. And you know what they do with the commercials? Because you got to get people's attention. He would take these old TVs, they would stand on top of their building and throw the TVs off the building.
Why would he do that?
Because you need to go buy a new TV from them.
But he wasted it.
I know. Now you need to buy a TV from them.
I'm not going to throw a TV off a roof to go buy a new TV.
Well, it worked for them. I'll tell you that. I went and bought a few things over there. So New Generation.
That's an interesting way to. That's an interesting way to get business.
Yes, and it worked.
That's also littering.
Well, they picked it up afterwards. All right, so let's wrap it up right here. It was so good to have you, Lanell Landry, Clerk of Court, Pointe Coupee Parish, and she said she's going to be back, and we got to return the favor by going back over there.
That's right. We're going to go check it out.
We're going to come do a little segment over there and put it on when you have on. When we have you on again, we're going to play our little segment on the TV.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah,
showing the pictures of your stuff.
Definitely. All right. Well, so we want to invite everybody. Everybody's invited to our 50th anniversary, our 50th podcast celebration. What we're going to do is real quick, we're going to make it free for the past guests and their families to go. The general public pays $25 because it's a fundraiser, and we need to pay for our expenses because we're going to have food, drinks, and everything. And bands. So everybody's invited. We have an Eventbrite page set up on our Dave K Show Facebook. Go check it out. Get your tickets. We're going to have 200 tickets available. Get your tickets early while you can, and enjoy yourself. It's going to be a lot of fun. Datha and I are going to be over there. If you want an autograph, we'll give you one. If not, not a problem. Later on in our 100th podcast, you might want to get one.
There you go.
All right,
Who knows? It might be worth money someday.
Exactly. That's right. All right, we're going to wrap this thing up right here. I think Timmy's saying it's time to get out of here. So if you're good to go, Lanell Landry, we're going to wrap it up.
Thank you. Appreciate the time.
All right,
Thank
sounds
you.
great. So I'm David K. Gyro, and
Datha Buriege.
That's right. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.